Hope you're feeling fine. It's another day. The Live Again series is live. And I'm super duper excited because my guest for tonight, hey, Father Lord in heaven, it's gonna be hot. Let's just leave it like that. It's gonna be hot. Hello, everyone. Good evening. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Let me quickly send her a request because I see her here already. Hello. Hi, Bola Joko. Hi, Tres Carol. Hello,
Good
Mama.
evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. I saw your video.
Messing around after work. Hey.
I saw your video. Good evening. Oh my
Good
goodness.
evening.
In fact, this conversation, I can't wait. I'm super excited because I know that it's going to be hot. I know it's going to be hot because of, first of all, the work that you do and also your passion for people and just seeing women maximize their potential. So ladies and gentlemen, especially those who are just meeting my guest probably for the first time, maybe you've not seen her face or you don't know who she is, allow me to introduce my guest. Her name is Ronke Adeni, affectionately known as Ronkeposh, right? She is a dynamic and energetic individual, a devout lover of God, a doting and loving mother. She holds a BSc in biochemistry from Queen Mary University of London and a master's degree in business administration from the University of Hull in United Kingdom. She is a certified Montessori directress, right? She is also the proud owner of Le Posh School, one of the best, in fact, the best, I dare to say, the best preschool and primary school in Ikoyi, Lagos, Nigeria, right? She is very passionate about parenting. In fact, she has this book that she wrote on, I think, 101 ways to curb shouting and beating, which is like what every parent raising a child in Africa needs. So you should get that book, right? And she is a favorite of a lot of TV stations. Trust me, TVC, NTA, they love
I've
her.
never heard that in any introduction before.
No, you are a
Favorite of
favorite.
TV
Oh, you
stations.
are a favorite.
Okay.
Even me. I like watching you on TV. I love it.
Thank you.
I love
Thank
your
you.
authenticity. I like people that are real. This world is full of fake. I can't, I don't know, I'm allergic to fakeness. So when I see real people, no. I just love them. So yeah, I love watching you on TV. So people that are watching me for the first time as well, that are from her page and are wondering who am I? My name is Enifome, right? And I'm the founder of the Live Again movement. It's a movement I started to help women live again. Someone is saying there is echo. I'm not sure why that is. Is it from my side, from my end? How is it now?
We have to be sure that it's more than one person to be sure that it's not from that side.
Okay, I think it's off now. I was hearing the noise, but now I can't hear it anymore. Okay. So my name is Enifome. I'm the founder of the Live Again movement. I founded the movement to help women live again, broken, abused, and distressed women. And it came from my own personal life. Like I suffered. I went through, they call it Shege Pro Max right now. Like that's the kind of Shege that I went through. But I thank God that God helped me to live again. But he also sent me to go and help other women live again. And this Live Again series is really supposed to help you live again. That's just what it is about. And by the time we start speaking, you would understand, what live again really means and why you should live again. So I'm going to go to my very first question so that we don't waste a lot of time. And that question is, what does live again mean to you? What does it mean to you? Because I know you have a book you wrote, Overcoming Grief and all of that, and you yourself, you've been through seasons of life I mean, there was a particular time that, you know, things happened. I don't want to go into that about your school and how you had to start from scratch. So you're not trained to starting all over. So you've even mastered it, which is one of the reasons why I said you have to come on here today to really just share from the wealth of your knowledge, you know, based on what you've been through and what it is that you know, and you know your large expanse of knowledge that you have. So the first question is, what does live again mean to you? When you hear live again, what comes to your mind?
So as I processed that question, I said, what does it truly mean to live again? And good evening to your audience, and thank you for having me, by the way.
My pleasure, ma'am.
I said it is to be born again. And when I use a term like that, people would assume, oh, they want me to be born again, Christian. And that's not really what it is for me. I believe it's to be born again. You know, you have a heightened, when we were born, we are not born with the level of consciousness that we should have as humans. We have to arise to another level of consciousness, another level of awareness in life. Some people die without getting to that level of consciousness. Some people die without getting to that level of awareness, and then it's unknown to them because they never found it. For you to get there, you have to go on a journey of discovery of your life and purpose. And a lot of people never live in purpose. Sadly, they don't. So when you say, what is it to live again? It's awareness, it's consciousness, and it's audacity, it's authenticity. For me, when I say audacity, audacity is one of my favorite topics to talk about. A lot of people say, oh, she says that it is, she does that it is. It's not about doing and saying things the way it is. It's about being yourself, being comfortable in your own skin, loving yourself enough to be. A lot of people are not. A lot of people are trying to be somebody else, or they are afraid to be who they really should be because they are worried about what people are going to say. So I think the people that are drawn to me are people that are just saying, this person just does her own thing, you know. There's a time I used to wear a mohawk, and people would ask me and say, did your husband allow you to have hair like this? I would wonder, because I would say sometimes, if I want to be cheeky, I will tongue in cheek, I would say, my husband don't ask permission when he wants to do his own hair, you know, that kind of thing. To be is a difficult thing. It should be easy, but it's not, because society has its own standards that they've imposed on people, especially women. Society wants you to finish school if you are lucky, and then get married, and then 9 months have children, and if you have a girl, you have to have a boy, and if you have boys, you have to have a girl. You know, standards. And the minute you defy that standard in any way, you are out of the norm. You are fish out of water. You begin to get the criticism. Tongues will begin to wag because you are not normal. You are not like everybody else. You are not factory made. You are not machine made like everybody else. Now, the Bible says that we should let our light so shine before men that men will see our good works and glorify our Father in heaven. Now, why should we let our light shine? Why shouldn't we just be like any other person? Why has God given each and every one of us a unique DNA if He wants us all to be the same? He must have made us all the same. There's a reason why you're unique. And no matter how many billions of people are on earth, there's something that will still set you apart in your own community. There will be something that will set you apart. Now, can you own it? Are you audacious enough to own it? Can you own it? That's the challenge that a lot of people have. They cannot own, they cannot become. Because audacity requires you to be courageous, to be bold, to have guts, to be excellent, to be a new version of yourself. Are you audacious enough to be yourself? Many people can't. They cannot. If you even say as a woman, for example, in a country like Nigeria, you say, I'm a woman, I don't want to have a husband. There's a problem.
Wahala.
They're wondering if you're a lesbian or something happened to you. If you get married and you and your husband decide like we don't want children, they'll still be praying for you that there's something wrong. They'll be praying for children for you because they expect you to have. They will quote scripture that you should be fruitful and multiply. And fruitfulness and multiplication is not isolated to only children. You can be fruitful and you can multiply in the things, other things that God has given you. It could be your ministry that God has said, go and be fruitful. It could be a job that you are holding. It could be a business. You know, whatever it is, just double it up. Be fruitful in it and multiply. We're not all called on earth to have children. The important thing that we know that it's not optional. It's optional to be a dad. It's optional to be a mom. It's optional to be a wife, and it's optional to be a husband. But it's not optional to be a great man, and it's not optional to be a great woman. It's mandatory. That is what God wants you to be. But if you go on, following up on that video, I'm personally sick of relationship advice. Anywhere I go, it's relationship advice. And the more that we hear the relationship advice, the more that relationships are being torn apart.
Spoiling, yes.
Every day, every other day, somebody's marriage has scattered. Every other day. So if this relationship advice are truly working, then why are we getting all this mess all around? So just have the audacity to be yourself. If everyone is doing things in a certain way, when I joined the educational sector in Nigeria, I was clearly different from many people.
Yes.
Not because they were bad. There's nothing wrong with them. They're doing whatever it is that they're doing. But I was not like them. I was doing things differently. I was speaking differently. And that's probably how I built my brand. My things were different. And a lot of people, there was a lot of criticism at the time. But with time, as they got to see the value I was adding to the sector, then they began to accept you. So to be born again is a challenging process. But guess what? Ultimately, the world will adjust. Yeah.
I like
the world will adjust. Go on.
I like how you did not mince any words. When you said to be born again is a challenging process. And for those who are just listening and just joining, they're wondering, is this a church? I'm hearing born again. You came late. and what she means is just the rebirth, your allowing yourself to be, allowing yourself to be everything that God has called you to be, right? And not allowing the world to dictate to you who they want you to be, having the audacity to be that person that God has created and called you to be, regardless of who approves, disapproves. Like, who are they to even approve and disapprove? So, you know, when you spoke about standards, it's something that I think has put a lot of people in problem. And it's because I feel like some people don't have their own standards, or they're too afraid to uphold their own standards. So they would rather be deflecting towards people's standards. And in that way, they are merely existing. They are not living. Because they don't have a mind of their own. They don't have the audacity, like you said, to stand their ground and to insist that this is who I am. And it takes courage, it takes audacity to do that. And I like when you said that, it's challenging, because sometimes I always say that living again is very hard. And maybe I shouldn't put the adjective very, or the qualification of very, but it's hard. It's challenging. It's hard. There's no come and be doing aspire to perspire. It is hard. You have to want it, or you don't want it. You have to really want to live again.
It's a process.
Yeah.
No matter how challenging it is, the other side of it is the beauty. No one can give you beauty for ashes. The other side of it. So it's like gold. When you're refining gold, it has to go through the fire. But ultimately, it becomes beautiful. So no matter what it is, it will be tough at some point. And even more than one point sometimes, it will be tough. But it's the beauty at the end of it that matters the most. It's the beauty. By that time, you are able to put away so many things that would normally matter to you. What are people going to say? The opinion of others. Oh, they're going to judge me. I'm going to be ashamed of this one. All those things, they will mean nothing to you anymore. For those things not to mean anything to you anymore, you are going through fire. Because God is going to protect you. God is going to say to you, who are you without money? Who are you
Absolutely. Identity.
without children?
Mm.
Who are you without a husband? Who are
Husband
you
without a
without that
child.
business? Who are you without 1,000 followers on Instagram? Who are you? Because a lot of times you see that it's those things that define people.
Yes.
Without those things, you don't know who you are.
Yes.
I mean, I've been working with women for many, many years. There was a time on my Facebook group that I asked women, why did you have children? They had children, most of them had children because it was the next thing to do, not because there was any big thought. Why did you get married? It was the next thing to do, not because there was any big thought about purpose, about alignment. And that is why you see that there's a lot of divorce. People will blame it on the enemy. They will say the devil wants to scatter families and everything, which has an element of truth in it. But oftentimes, a lot of people got married when there was no serious level of awareness or consciousness.
Yes.
So as they grew up with their partners, they realized that their values did not align anymore. They were not in sync with a lot of the things that they needed to do to take them to the next level. And then divorce comes. And then when this divorce comes, they have demonized divorce to the point where they will quote the Bible and say God hates divorce. Now, God hates divorce and he hates many other things. It's not only divorce that God hates.
Exactly.
There are many other things that he doesn't like. But you have to realize that you just have to get on with it. Now, let's use the relationship for example. You could be in a relationship, yeah? It's like a rocket that is being propelled into the sky, yeah? It's going to space. And it's going. I don't know if you've seen anything like that on TV. It's going. And after a while, the boosters will open like this.
Yes.
And they will now drop off. Yeah, that's what happens. It's the same thing in relationships. Sometimes, not all, you're going with this partner, but after a while, it opens and it drops off. Does that mean that the boosters were useless?
No, they were.
They were not useless. They needed to go with that rocket to a point, then drop that weight because that rocket did not need those boosters at the next level that he was going to. But it
The
was
height he
useful.
was going to.
At some point, there will be friends in your life that will be useful. There will be siblings in your life that will be useful. There will be people in your life that will be useful at certain times in your life. But for many people, after a while, they have to drop those people. Otherwise, they cannot reach their peak.
Yes.
They cannot reach where
Yes.
God wants them to be. You can't carry everybody to the next level. And sometimes it includes your children. Sometimes it includes your parents. Sometimes it includes your husband or your wife. It includes your brother, your sister. Because we're very sentimental. You know, my family member, a whole husband. So you find people in toxic, unfulfilling relationships just because they feel they must carry a particular baggage along. You can't get far with everybody.
Yes.
That's just the way you can't get far with everybody. Yeah. So
Especially
I think that's pretty much
if you want
covered.
to grow. Especially if you want to grow,
yeah.
or you want to hit some particular. You know, I saw a picture on Instagram that said, "Stop worrying about cutting people off. Grow, they will fall off."
They will fall off. Yeah. They will fall
It
off
was so
naturally.
profound.
And when they fall off naturally, it's not because you did anything special. Other than you were, maybe I'll make it very basic. Maybe you started attending some seminars. Maybe you started reading some books. Maybe you went for a networking session. You started hanging around other people that were taking you somewhere, and you now have people like, what does she think she is? Is it because she's speaking on that person's platform? Is it because of that? Oh, is it because? But your level of awareness has heightened. Your relationship is grown. Things are changing. They feel insecure. They feel small beside you. Misery likes company. So they cannot get you to their level because you're growing. Then they just have to depart. It just will not work out anymore. And there are people in your life that you will try to take along. Sometimes it happens that husband and wife, they will want to take the wife along, for example. That's why they go with their secretaries. They will go with their secretary to all the conferences. The secretary is opening eye, becoming more aware, in tune. They are on the same position. Madam is at home with the children. She's not growing in any way. They don't have the same conversations. They are not in tune. Naturally, they will separate. They may be in the same house, but naturally they will separate. And that's why the secretary will, even if she's not as beautiful as Madam, she'll become more attractive because they have more to say. There's more that they have in common.
Common ground.
And so they are more in sync. So these are the things that are happening out there. And the more we realize that as we are growing, the people that we love, we have to take them along with us.
Very,
Now, if they don't want to
very
come,
important.
it's fine because we
Very
can't carry everybody.
important. Yeah.
But as much as we can, I always tell couples, if you are going for a conference, carry her. If you don't, tell him about it. As much as you can, grow together. Because if you
Together.
don't grow together, there's going to be a gap. There's going to be a gap. And that is killing a lot of relationships. It's not the devil. It is. That's
Wow. If you know Ronkeposh, you know that she's passionate about relationships. She's passionate about marriage. Just know that anything that she's discussing, it will shy enter inside. It's just out of her belly. It's the overflow, you know. And I like the way this conversation is going, because I always say that when you're living again, how you would know that you're living again is that some old relationships will begin to fade off and new ones will begin to come in. And when it comes to, like you said, something like marriage, of course, it's for better, for worse, or at least till death. Nobody gets married and intends that they're going to walk away the next day. So that's why it's really important that when a woman is living again, I think that her spouse should also be, would I say living again too? Or if for example, they went through something, and I'm going to ask you a next question that is like leading to that. You know, sometimes the reason why people don't live again is because they went through something in life. They went through something that was painful. They went through something that was very hard. They went through something that was difficult. They went through something that scarred them, that put them in a situation where they just found themselves struggling. They found themselves stuck. They tried to leave that point, but they couldn't. Sometimes it could be anything. I'm hearing that echo now. It could be anything. It could be loss of a child. It could be loss of a job. It could be anything at all. But that thing put the person in a situation where the person is unable to truly live, and the person is just patching. It may even be loss of money. It may be a debt. It may be, you know, it varies. But sometimes those people or that couple might not recover. And before you know what's going on, they start to have issues, and they now call it irreconcilable differences. Or they say things like, oh, I don't know, but I left you, or you left me, or I grew, or I whatever, or somebody might have overcome it, the other person might not have overcome it. So I would like you to speak on that. But before you speak on that, I want to ask you, have you ever been knocked down by life? I know that question is a question that already has an answer, because almost everybody in this life has been knocked down by life. But have you ever been knocked down by life, and what were the practical steps that you took to bounce back and begin to live again? And then you can touch base on, you know, couples that maybe have gone through some level of pain and how it affects them, and you know what you can say to such a couple, especially when the thing happened to the two of them, how they can live again. I think that you can do justice to that because of your experience with, you know, marriage, relationships, and everything. But I really want to know how you've been, what you're able to do when life knocked you down. What were the practical steps that you took for someone that is listening?
so when you say life knocks you down, it actually depends on what you mean. I'm always very careful because this is the question that I get. I need to understand what it means for life to knock somebody down. Now, it could be trauma, and it could be that a big loss, for example.
Yeah.
Now, in my own experiences, I've experienced loss of let me put it this way: the loss that I suffered was based on an armed robbery that we had in 2012.
Yes.
And they robbed us. We were just to Nigeria then. We had been in Nigeria for about 4 months, and we were robbed. We were taken to the school. I run a school for people that don't know, and everything was taken. And I had been buying many of these things over the last 7 years before I moved to Nigeria, so that I could set up the school. Everything in the school was important at the time. So laptops, all sorts of things were taken away. So that was a loss. Now, I wrote a book as well about grief in last year, June. I released the book in June. That was about grief. Now, I didn't articulate what it was that I was grieving about. I just wanted people to understand that people grieve even when you don't lose a human being. You can grieve. So, if you, for example, lose a limb, a part of your body. You can grieve, but people don't understand that it is actually grief. They just don't get it. Anything that you lose or anything that is below expectation, if you're fired from your job or you're not thriving in your job, you will grieve. If anything is below expectation, if you are married and your husband is not abusing you, but you're not happy, it's below you. You had this image in your head that this is what my marriage will be like, and it isn't. It's below expectation, you will grieve. Anything, you could suddenly lose your hair and have alopecia, you will grieve. You are going to mourn the loss of that hair because you never expected it to be like that. If you have a child that's not doing well in school or it has character issues, you will grieve because it was below expectation. So life can deal you something like that. Then life can take away a loved one from you. And it could be a trauma, maybe an abusive relationship, or in my case where it was an armed robbery. So the blow, life can give you any blow that goes anyhow. It could become in any of those sort of categories. Now, when all those things happen to me, for example, when the armed robbery happened to me, we could make the choice to return to the UK. We have British passports. We had a home in the UK.
Flights, run away.
It was just a flight ticket away. But when you're living in purpose and you know the reason why you are in purpose, I knew that God will not send me to Nigeria for such a time as this, and this will happen and I will run back. That means I didn't really hear him. What God a man that he would lie. He didn't lie that you come to Nigeria within 4 months. I've been planning to come for years, to the point where I've shopped for 7 years, and in the twinkle of an eye, I make a decision to go back. That's not the God I serve. He's not confused. So as scared as I was, I had to stay. And this was 12 years ago. 1st of April will make it 12 years. 1st of April. So I stayed because I knew that my God is not confused. And he must still have a plan, irrespective. So at that time, I didn't have any rag to riches story, to be honest. I didn't have any, when people come and say, I used to sell akara on the street, and now I used to sell pure water, and now I live in Lekki one in a 10-bedroom house. I didn't have that kind of story. So having was not news to me. Thankfully, I've come from a family where we're very, very, very comfortable. Very, very comfortable. So we never lacked for anything. But when this one happened, everything was taken away. Everything was, even my phone, we didn't have a phone to call anybody. We had to go to the neighbor to use their phone to call. I had nothing. Absolutely nothing. So we had to start all over again. So this one had nothing to do with, daddy, this one, that one. The moral support was there. The parents were there. Yes, they were all there to help you morally. But I had to pick up. It was on a Sunday. On the Monday, we still opened the school. We still opened the school the following Monday, even though they had Amazon had been there. And we didn't tell the parents anything. We just carried on with what we had. And this was 12 years ago. And we had to start buying things all over again, little by little. They didn't tell you tables and chairs, thankfully. So we had to continue buying things and just building and building and building all over again. So these things, they happen. They happen. And when they happen to you, what do? The Bible says that many are the afflictions of the righteous. But the important thing to note is that the Lord will deliver you from every one of them. No matter what it is, God will still take you out of it. So what are not even people that have terminal diseases, God still removes them from that affliction, even if it's by death. That's forever. Somehow, God will deliver you from it. So we need to understand that. So if you have a positive mindset, I have a growth mindset, and you know that anything that's happening to me right now is just for a time.
For now. Yes.
I'm going to get through it. Because sometimes things happen to people and they wallow in it.
They stay there.
They've left their spouses 15 years ago. They've even married a new one. But anytime you call that spouse's name, hey, that bastard, hey, that's typical, good for nothing. They cannot heal from whatever it was that they went through. They are still carrying it. And I'm not undermining the pain that anybody would have gone through in a previous relationship. But we must grow to the point where we can let go of those boosters so that they will not stop us from getting to that place that God wants for us.
Yes.
You need to forgive, yes. You need to drop any baggage and forge ahead. Because the more you're carrying those things, it's like you're physically carrying it. You're never going to get
You can't move.
anywhere.
You can't move
You think
fast.
you're doing well. You're supposed to do 100 times more if you drop the baggage.
Yes.
But people
very important.
refuse to drop the baggage because they don't heal. And that's what my book was about. Grief. The cycles of grief. When you are grieving, many times you cannot believe that something like that happened to you, number one.
Denial.
Something like that happened to me of all people. I lost my Instagram because of 1,000 people. A whole me. How can something like that happen to me? My business is going to close down. You know that the business is not right now, you need to close it. But you'll be like, what will people say? That my business is not working. Whereas God has a bigger plan for you if you close that business. You are still going to be carrying that business that is in debt. You don't want to let go. Or you start bargaining with God and saying, God, if you give me this child, I will serve you for the rest of my life. If you give me this, I will, you're bargaining with God, you're telling God, but God knows exactly what He wants for you. You can't say you're going to do this for God before God gives you this. God blesses us anyway, not because of what you're going to do for Him.
Yeah.
So even if you like,
not performance driven.
Worship you for the rest of my life, He's not going to give you anything you want because you say you're going to worship Him for the rest of your life. He knows the end from the beginning. He knows when He's going to give you whatever it is He wants to give you. So people go through that. And some people go through a phase of anger. You can skip it. Some stages that some people they skip. Some people get into anger. Some people get into depression. Why me? Why me, God?
Wrong question.
That's when they now talk about God. They shout at God. They're angry at God, and then God will be crying. God is like, oh, look at what you did to me. You don't love me anymore. Yeah, right. So people get through that one. But the ultimate thing is that whatever your challenge is, whatever your battle is, you are going to have to accept it.
You just have to. No healing without acceptance.
Accept that this has happened to me. I have lost this baby. I have lost this child. I have lost this husband. I have lost this business. Whatever it is, you are going to have to accept it. And it can be traumatic. Because I have a friend that lost a limb. Girl about town, beautiful and everything. And she went for a routine operation and they just did something to her arm and they had to literally cut off her hand.
Oh, wow.
This is somebody that was in her 40s.
Wow.
Now you can imagine the effect on her mental health. This is a beautiful girl that does that. You know how we all like to take pictures, we get photo shoots, we do all sort of things. How is she supposed to accept that? How is she going to say, God, I love you, I worship you, yet you took my hand? It's not an easy thing to do. Every day you wake up and you're thinking, why me? Of why me? Why did you choose me? But God is saying, why not you? I need you for this story. I need you for this. Why did you take my husband, Lord, after 21 years of marriage? How long we have left? But He still takes it because that husband or that wife is not the end all and be all. God has big dreams. I mean, I did a video not long ago, still on my page, when someone was talking about if your marriage doesn't work, your life is over. A prominent speaker, and I'm thinking, hello, there's so many people that are in the kingdom and their marriages haven't worked and they're okay. Kenneth Copeland, for example, his third wife, they've been married for 60-something years. Third wife. Phil Thompson that sings, worships, and the whole world knows his songs. He's remarried. Joyce Meyer, remarried. Pastor Emmanuel Olumide, remarried. There's so many. And this is not to dignify or encourage you to divorce anybody. This is not it. But what I'm saying is that when trauma happens, when a loss happens, it doesn't
That's
mean
not
that it's over.
the end of your life. Yeah.
It's not the end of your life. And it's how you frame it. If you accept what society is saying that you are a failure, then you are a failure. Nobody can give you a name that is not your own.
Yours.
So if you accept this and say, oh, I'm a loser, I'm a failure, then by all means you can accept it. It's your choice. It's how you frame it. Why not say, oh, it was beautiful 21 years of my life, I'm moving on to chapter 2. I'm moving on to phase 2. I'm moving on to stage 2. I'm moving on to the next level of my life. Why must it always be a story of pain? Anything that happens to you in this life is because there's a story that God wants out of it.
Yes.
It doesn't happen to you for nothing.
Nothing just
The
happens.
story does not belong to you alone. So when you say, why me? You flatter yourself because it's not about you. It's beyond you. When things happen to you, you have to know that it's beyond you, beyond your family. It's for the kingdom of God. For you to be able to open your mouth, keep your chin up, despite what has happened to you, and still thrive, not survive, thrive. So how are you going to be able to do that if you never accept to live again?
To live again is first an acceptance. It's first recognizing that life is bigger than what happened to me. Life is bigger. What happened to me is not life, right? What happened to me is something that happened to me. It happened to me. It's not
it's not me.
That's not life. That's something that happened. Life is
And it's not
bigger.
me.
And it's not me. So it's
It's not
first
me.
an acceptance. And if that acceptance does not happen, you might not be able to live again, because you will not be able to withstand the pressure, the challenges, and the journey of living again. It comes with its own unique challenges. I mean, you spoke about purpose just now, and purpose is really one of the pillars of living again. Like, that's really what it is. Like, you're living in purpose. You're living, and I wrote some things down when you were speaking about your what happened to you with the robbery in your school. You said God told you to come to Nigeria, and you had been planning it for years. And then one incident happened. Then you should have now said, okay, oh, maybe God did not know what he was saying, or maybe I not hear where. Then you now pack your load, and then now go back to where you're coming from. But you knew that God had a purpose for you in Nigeria, and that grounded you, which is very, very important. If you go through life challenges and you know that you are here for a purpose, you are alive for a purpose, you're not just a random thought that, okay, you just happen to just land in where you are. You just happen to come up from one particular family. You just found yourself. You need to know that you're not a random thought. Even the most stupid part of your life has worth. It has worth. So if you're listening to us and you're wondering, this live again talk again, like, hey, they don't understand the extent that I have lost. They don't understand the extent of what I have been through. They don't understand. And you see, one thing about pain is a unifier. There's nobody that can say I've not been through pain. So even if you're saying we don't understand, we've been through pain. I've been through pain. You've been through pain, right? So you know that pain is a unifier. There is no human being that has not gone through pain. So if we're telling you that you can live again, then you need to actually believe it. That yes, so regardless of what I have lost, I can live again, and I will. Once you accept it and you decide, there's really nothing that can stop you except you. There's really, in fact, hey God, when I think about what you just said now, I'm like, a lot of things would have happened. You had passport, you had visa. It passed like that. It's easier to get a flight ticket out of the problem than to face the problem. So I think a lot of people just want to run away from the problem. That's really
my boss at the time. When I told my boss in the UK, I used to work. My last job was at Barclays Bank, and he said he was surprised. He was like, "Okay, if it doesn't work out in Nigeria, I should give him a call." So I even had a job that I would have still gotten at the
Just in
time.
case.
So it was
Yeah.
only 4 months. I could still get a job and just sit back in the UK. And that's why I always ponder and just smile when I see Japan because of what's happening in
Sorry
Nigeria.
for another day.
Because God told you, because you can go to Japan and then begin to grieve and not
Exactly.
live again.
Exactly.
If you are not in the purpose and the will of God, you
Exactly.
just think that you are living a miserable life. Because when I see people
You're
moving, I say,
existing. Yes, even
I'm
in the
telling you,
abroad. Yeah.
I don't need visa to go to the UK. I don't need it. I don't need a visa. I just need to buy a ticket. That's all. I have a red passport. But that is not where God wants me to be. For such a, maybe he will change his mind later, but for such a time as
Time as
this, this
this.
is where he wants me to be. That's where, wherever you are around the world, that's where God wants you to be. If it's not, then you need to think. Think about the shame that is stopping you. What people will say that is stopping you from making the right decisions. Because you are grieving. You're not living in purpose. Just because you are worried about what people will say. I remember I talked about audacity at the beginning. Do you have the
Yes.
audacity? I mean, there was this funny video that came when it went viral. I don't know if you saw it. The guy who had was cleaning in the UK, was cleaning toilets and stuff like that. And then he said, they said UK will humble you. And then he now showed himself in Nigeria in one nice red and banner coming out of one
Wow.
mansion and entering the car. You know? So in Nigeria, he was balling. In the UK, he was mopping and stuff like that. What is God's plan for your life? Be sure. It's not everybody like that doesn't do well. You know that. We're not ignorant. But be sure. And even if you're doing well financially, it still doesn't mean you're in the will of God. You gotta keep telling me what I was earning when I was a contractor in the banks. I hardly earn it today. I hardly earn it today. But I need purpose. I'm more joyful being in Nigeria.
It's so
Doing what you want
fulfilling.
me to do. It's not about just going to the bank and collecting money.
Yes.
If it's a money thing, I'll stay back. I was in a good place. I had worked many years in the bank, so I was in a good place. And I was not a permanent staff. I was collecting my money every week. Good money. And I had a business I was running. I was doing the children's parties as well at the time, paying me good money. So it was not a money thing. Your life's purpose is not a money thing. God will always make provision when it comes to money. He's always going to. Your life is a value, and when there's value, God is going to bring money to you. So it's not about how much you can amass. It's how much you are doing for the kingdom of God.
How
You must be
much you're
audacious.
doing for the kingdom of God. Who is being
Yes.
impacted by your life? What do you want to be known for? What do you want to be remembered for? Right now, what's the quality of your life right now? I'm not even referring to like you said now, you have a red passport. So it's not about the money, it's not about the possessions, it's not about the hair and all these external things that we wear. Because women know how to cover, they know how to
Yeah.
package, they know how to package pain, they know how to make it look like I'm balling when they're dying.
Yeah.
So it's not
That's
about
it.
making it look like you're balling when you're dying. It's, you know, when if you're just joining us, you know, my guest Ronkeposh spoke about authenticity. Authenticity is actually being one with yourself. It's like you're not a two-faced person. This is me. You know, they remain for house. Now like this it be. You understand?
Take it
So
or
you
leave it.
cannot be pretending as if you are balling when you are dying. It is that
That's
in
it.
itself is not authenticity. And it is, you cannot live again when you are so worried, you are so bothered, you are so particular about how you look, how people see you, as against who you truly are. In fact, you spend a lot of time doing all the externals, but when it comes to your mind, when it comes to, you know, courses and things that you can do to improve yourself, you're like, nah, let's just, you know, let's just make it look like think about how your age right now and how old you are and how long you have been living your life existing. The emptiness is not worth it. The last guest that we had on the Lead Again series said, when you're not living again, it's boring. She said it's boring. Because when you're living again, you will face challenges. I mean, for me to come on live today, I went through some challenges. If I ask you, what you went through today, you tell me, oh, there was something that happened today, but you're here. You're not here because, oh, you just like to just set ring lights and, you know, you just, it's the, it's the purpose that is driving you. It's the purpose that is keeping you here. So living again is living in purpose, is living in the will of God for your life, making sure that you are in the center of God's will for your life. So if you're listening to us and you don't know where you're going, you just feel like you're just turning on your own, this is the right time for you to ask God to plant you in the center of his will. Even if you are abroad and you're listening to us, and God has been telling you, go back to Nigeria, just like Ronkeposh. I know it's difficult. I know it's difficult. But you need to understand that whatever it is you're doing there will amount to nothing. I want to say it again. Whatever it is you're doing there, if God did not send you there, it will, not it may, it will amount to nothing. But if you can pick those, you know, pick up the shame and pick everything and say, you know what, I will shame the shame. Let me go to where, just like the prodigal son, I will arise and I will go back to my father's house. After all, I can see small thing to eat there. Even the slaves, my father, are eating better than me. Please, I'm going back. So this is a call for you to just align yourself back to God. It's not too late. Living again is living in God. It's being who God wants you to be and damning the consequences. It's dying to self. It is dying to all the things that you think you know and you've been and you've immersed. I mean, sometimes God allows you even lose something so that you can see that it's not those things. It's not those things. It's actually him. And if I ask you right now that when you lost all those things in your school, if I ask you that, what is that one thing that made you know that you will get it again? What is that one thing? Let me just ask you. It wasn't part of the questions, but I just feel like asking you. What is that one thing that made you know that these things I lost, I will get it. I will even get beyond this? Because that's what restoration does.
For me, I'm a naturally optimistic person. I'm not someone that always thinks the worst of myself or anybody. It takes me a while. In fact, it takes me a while. I don't always necessarily arrive at that point. You must be a really naughty person for me to arrive at that point. So even though that had happened, I possibly wasn't thinking, oh, am I going to get it back again? But I knew everything was going to be all right. I think that was it. Because at some point, when the armed robbers left, my husband at the time was like, now what? And it was clear as daylight, the response that I heard and said, which was, now God. So he said, now what? I said, now God. Because when we moved, because we had planned for many years to come to Nigeria, we came with money. We came with, even that time was BlackBerry phone that was raining. I had iPhone, I had BlackBerry, and I had a spare BlackBerry in case anything happened. So we came with backing, you know, I get
backing. Oh.
So in our minds, we had backing. And my sister had come before, friends had come before, they had told us Nigeria stories. So there was no bus that we're not ready to give it boost. Everything we were ready to handle it. And that happened. We weren't prepared for that. So we had no choice but to depend on God. We had no choice. Because now money was now a problem to an extent. We didn't have resources around us anymore. Even the money you have, you're going to have to use it to buy things, to replenish the things that were stolen. So you don't have any choice but to trust God. And it's still him that I trust till tomorrow.
I knew there had to be God in there because the Bible says in the beginning, God. I knew that it was God that kept you going. It's just God. It's
God because I couldn't sleep for over a year, and that's probably part of what now resulted in me writing and online, and I started to help people online with my story, just because I was a domestic worker that actually set us up.
Yeah.
So we're now able. I was able
to be
to
someone
share
in-house, to be someone
in-house. And then people were saying, oh, that happened to me, that happened to me. I started to share tools and tips about how to hire domestic workers. So I started to grow. Then I started to doing a business from it. I started to train domestic workers. People were asking me for domestic workers, and then I started to tell in the school, tell parents that if you have a domestic worker, I will train their nannies for them. And it just grew. Something. Your pain
Pain
is
to
not for nothing. That's what
purpose.
it is.
Pain to
It's not.
purpose.
That's it.
Right.
It may look like it happened to you, and then you're miserable. But you have to know that it's bigger.
It's
Now, because
bigger.
I have experienced that sort of thing before, and from learning, from teaching, from growing, from just growing in life. By the time the second trauma happened to me in the summer of 2022, you are never ready for this. But my healing didn't take time like the first one, because I was
It's the same
able to
principles.
understand.
Yes, it's the same principles. I always
I
say that
already
life will
knew.
knock you down more than once. Life
Yeah.
doesn't knock you down once. I just finished. I'm good to go. Just learn the
Mm,
principles. Just
mm,
know that something that happened before, it might not be the same exact thing, but life
yeah.
will just bring something that was not in your plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just need to know
So, but
the steps that you
exactly,
took the
exactly.
first time,
Yeah.
apply
Yeah.
the same steps, and you will find yourself
Mm-hmm.
living again. It's really not that.
Yeah.
It's not that deep. It's just that you have to commit to the work. Ah man,
Mm-hmm.
I could listen to you all day, because there's a lot to bring out from the things you're saying. There's a lot. If I'm not even following the sequence of the questions, because when you just spoke now about you grew, you learned,
Mm,
you were teaching, you built a business.
mm,
You see, that small mindset is another problem why people don't live
mm,
again, because you
mm,
lost something. That thing you lost is maybe this biro. It's just this.
mm,
And the Bible says, except a corn of wheat falls to the ground and dies, which is actually what the Live Again movement is founded on. It abides
mhm,
alone. But if it dies, it brings forth much fruit. So you went
mhm,
through something and you said, okay, it wasn't even easy for you to come and share those things online at that time. Because
mm,
even people have seen you abroad. They've seen you now, and it's you. And now you're coming to say, I don't have anything again. I've lost most of the things that I amassed for 7 years. I don't need to even ask you. It couldn't have been easy. But you had
yeah.
to die to what people thought about you. You had to die
Mhm,
to your plan, your own aspirations that you had when you were coming to Nigeria. You had to die to a lot of things and then face front. And then in dying, you were able to begin to live again, and you started teaching. You started growing. You found the lessons from your pain and your experience. Because many times people don't look at their lives experiences and itemize the lessons. They don't even want to look at it, because they feel like they don't want to go into the pain. They don't want to feel the pain. So they just say, you know
mhm,
what, that is over. It has ended. I don't want to talk about it. I don't think about it,
mm,
and they are forming
mm,
strong. Resilience is not forming strong. Resilience is being strong. Resilience is growing
yeah.
through the challenge. And I
Mhm,
can see that. I can see you're a very resilient person. I wanted to ask you, would you describe yourself as a resilient person, and why? I don't need to ask you. Because one of the pillars of resilience is optimism, is positive
mm,
mindset, and you already have it. And no matter what will
mm,
happen to you, you will bounce back stronger, you will bounce back better, you will bounce back richer. So if you're listening to me and you're wondering, how do I build resilience? Try having a
mm,
positive mindset. Don't always think the worst. You heard when she said, before she would think the worst of somebody, that means the person is really, 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 really naughty. Even though people have disappointed you, she had a domestic staff. Does that mean she will not have domestic staff again? Some of you fell in love. A man broke your heart. Since that time, I cannot love again. All men are
mhm,
scum. All men are cheats. If all men are scum, so
mm,
which of the men will now marry you that will not be a scum?
mm,
So it's
mm,
so important to have this mindset that, look, I'm bigger than whatever is going to come my way. I was made for this. You said something that you came to Nigeria for such a time as this. Look at all the value you've added. Look at how many stations you have gone to go and speak life into, and speak your truth that has blessed
mm,
people. If I begin to ask you of the kind of feedback you've gotten, you just told
mm,
me now that people were even sending you then that me too, I went through the same thing. Oh, me too, I went through the same thing. Oh, thank you for sharing. If it's only that, if it's only those people that you even impacted that time, it's even worth it. But now you have grown, you have become better. That's what it means to live again, to flourish from pain to purpose. Stop hugging your pain. I don't know why I'm dwelling on this pain thing, because the next question was, how do you handle pain? That was the next question. How do you handle pain? How do you
Okay,
handle
so
pain?
when that first incident happened, I didn't have the clarity that I have today. So then there was a lot of fear as well, as the pain of the loss, but there was a lot of fear. So I was just moving with the motions at the time. And then I was reading a lot because I was not sleeping at night. I used to think the robbers would come back. You know, I just used to be scared.
Trauma.
But by the time that I experienced trauma in 2022, I've grown significantly from 2012. This was 10 years on. I've done so many courses. I've experienced so many things in life. So that was it was a bigger blow than the one that happened in 2012. What happened in 2022 was more than what happened in 2. I hope it's not a 10-year thing. This is the first time that will actually. I hope it's not
I
a
thought
10-year.
about it when you spoke, honestly, but I didn't want to sound cryptic
This is
or
the first time.
something.
This is the first time I was thinking that it's a
I thought about
10-year
it.
from a 10-year thing. Oh, I better look out for 2032. So when that happened in 2022, I knew exactly, even though it was painful, I knew how to heal. So the first thing I did, I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get people that are going to hold my hand. I needed professionals. I did not say church people. I will always appear. I always appear as if I don't like preachers or church people. Sometimes, but it's because they're not always equipped with the tools to help people that have been traumatized. They're not always necessarily going to Bible school does not equate going to a school of psychology or being a therapist. So it's different. It's completely different. So I don't undermine their work, but you can't always say by the grace of God you'll be okay. Don't worry. Some people need some everyday tools that something to do. You can't just tell me to keep on praying. No, you can't just tell me to keep on praying. So I got 2 professionals. That's the first thing I did. The very next, I said, I got 2 professionals that were going to help me. And they were working with me on a daily basis. Then I was doing a lot of mindfulness. Because I'm aware of these things. Even stopping to breathe, because I used to have panic attacks. I used to be afraid. I used to think, I'm going to die. My life is over. It was literally like that. I used to, I can't even feel it as I'm saying it. My heart would tighten, literally. So I had to breathe. I knew that I had to breathe. I knew that it was not a doctor thing. It was just because I was fearful. So I knew to do that. So a lot of self-care. And as I was healing, I was writing a lot. In 1 month, I read about 30 books about my condition at the time. I read about 30 books, physical and online books I was reading. I can't count how many YouTube videos I watched on them about the matter. Then I was journaling, tracking my grocery. Every single day I was writing what was happening. I was reading. I was praying because prayer will always have its position. And then I was in the UK. After about 4 months, I was not healing. I decided to come back to Nigeria because I knew that there was something in Nigeria that would help me heal. One of them was my parents, yeah, and another one was the school.
Purpose.
School, that school that so many things that happened that I thought, oh, I might have to close this school down. But the love of those children, the hugs, the Miss Ronke, Miss Ronke. Honestly, it took place to another level. A lot of my healing happened in that school. And then I started to
to
do
live for.
self-care. I started to travel last year. So then I came back to Nigeria by the 1st of November, 31st of October through 1st of November. By 2023, I was traveling a lot. I love travel. So I was traveling a lot. I love beauty. So part of my healing was doing the things that I loved. I love art, I love coloring. So I bought a lot of coloring books. I have a lot of markers everywhere I go. This is a pot of markers. This is a pot of markers. I was coloring. As simple as it was what I was doing. Every day I would color something beautiful. I was always coloring, and it was healing. Your own could be anything. Your own could be swimming, anything. Then I was swimming. Then I gave myself a target. I started to swim in big pools, and I then swam in the Atlantic Ocean.
Wow.
Those things were like, I think I was bragging.
Daring.
No, it was healing my mind.
Yes, very
It took me to another level. And then God started opening doors for me. I started to have people come into my life and love on me. Because you have to allow God to do the work. If you close all that, you have to allow God. And God brought so many people into my life to heal me. So it's important that you submit to God as well and allow Him to heal you. So many things: journaling, praying, traveling, swimming, water. I had a love for water. Family support, then the self-care. I was not playing with myself. I was going for massages. I was always looking beautiful. It was just my own way. It was just my own way. And then God carried me, carried me. God will just carry me. The whole of it. When you want me, they don't believe that. I tell people that I hardly worked in 2023. I hardly worked in 2023. I couldn't, because when my trauma happened and I got my news, my mental state was upside down. So I was not able to function at any work. So thankfully I had a strong team that would do all the things that we needed to do. But if it was left to me, maybe I was running a one-man business. That business would have packed up.
Yeah.
It should have packed up because I was not in the mental state. So you need people. If something happened to you and you can't talk to anybody about it because of the shame, because of the pain, or whatever the thing is, you're going to be there for a long time because you need people. Now, at the time of the trauma, you don't make decisions when you are going through trauma. And even though I knew that as a therapist, I was still making emotional decisions. But I had friends, one particular friend that said to me, you can't make this decision. It's not what you should do. Now, if I didn't confide in my friend, I won't have somebody to tell me, don't do this, don't do that. Now, in hindsight, that I'm okay now, I look back and I say, God, thank you for this person. Thank you for that person. Thank you for that. In fact, I have people that God brought into my life that loved on me like crazy, but today they are just annoying. There are some people that are in your life for a season and some people for a reason. It's not everybody that will stay forever. At that point last year, there were some people that today were not as close. But at that point, God put them because they needed to do something. They too, they are doing God's assignment. So you have to allow God. You have to allow God to use people to help you. Because we're not designed to fight this battle alone.
Allow God to help you.
You can remember when I came for Saul. When I came for Saul in 20. Oh yeah, that was why I came to Saul. Post trauma.
Wow.
The retreat. One of the things I said to myself, let me go away. Let me just go. I don't want to know anything. Let me just go away. That was one of the first things I did after getting therapy. That was one of the first things I did. So you have to make choices, tough choices, but choices that will serve you as an individual. This is what I did.
Wow.
So I can go
There's
on,
so much.
but those are some of the many things
so
that I
much
did.
even like
There's so much.
It's so rich. This is such a rich I'm just enjoying it. I'm just enjoying myself. Like, I hope that those that are listening to us are actually taking some things. Please drop in the chat something that has struck you since you've been listening, like an aha moment, so that we know you are following us, because these things are very important. Supportive relationships, allowing God to heal you. You can't be, I always say this, that is a surrendered clay that the potter will mold. It's not the one that is saying, no, I'm not going anywhere. Like, God knows the corners of your heart that need the healing. That one is even, you should know this because you're into therapy and all of that. I always say that nobody can heal you except God. And I don't even mean You now have to go looking for pastor everywhere. Pastor, that person is a pastor doesn't mean that they have what it takes to heal you. What heals people is not people. It is what they are carrying that can heal you. The healing power of God. If it's your pastor that has it, oh, if it is your daughter, but there is a power part in healing. That one, there's nothing to negotiate. There is a power part when it comes to healing. That no matter what you do, you still need that healing touch, that healing power, that balm, those living waters to go and penetrate the areas that are dry. That one is very, very important. So when you are choosing people, when you are hurt, please ask God to lead you. Pray. Like she said, she was praying, but she was doing other things, but she was praying, because when you are in pain, you are very, very suggestible. You are vulnerable. You need to be careful when you are in pain, not to just allow yourself to say, hey, I'm in pain now, so let me just do whatever I want. You may find yourself in a worse situation than you were before the pain started. So when you are in pain, it's not the time for you to try and take alcohol, what are those things? Drugs, all those vices that you think, okay, I want to know, I need to feel okay, I need to feel all right. My sister, my brother, you are going to enter more problems. So when you are in pain, it's not when you should go and be looking for everybody. That's when you should look for God, and God will lead you to people, and he will bring the right people, like he brought for her. He brought the right people. They gave her exactly what she needed at that time. And now she said that they are now annoying. But at least that
Not
time.
all of them, not all of them, some of them.
Not all of them, just a few. But they have served what God brought them to do in your life. And that's because you did not rely on people. You relied on God, and God brought the people. I just had to say this because I've seen people that went through abuse end up with a more abusive partner because they were looking for I don't know, they were saying, I'm going through trauma. Then you now go and meet the one that will kill you finally. No. when you're going through pain, try to take a step back and look into yourself. She said she was doing a lot of mindfulness, trying to be conscious, aware of what she's thinking about, why she's thinking about what she's thinking about. Just being aware of herself and knowing herself enough to say, I need help, and reaching out for that help, and then prioritizing her well-being. I don't want to go into the kind of money that she spent. Let's not go there. But I think we have to go there. Because some people say that they love themselves, but they don't really love themselves. Because if you really love yourself, you will not, you paid people to help you. I don't want to even go into how much you paid people to help you. How much you spent in all those massages, traveling to the UK back, and doing those things that have to do with investment. Please, if you are listening to me and you're merely existing, you've gone through pain, you've gone through trauma, you know that you are empty, please stop holding on to your money. Stop holding on to the thing that you release and you will get the help. You say, no, I cannot release this. Then you will not live again. That's just the way it is. I'm going to try to bring this to a close so that because of time. So I had a question for you initially, which was, why is it important to live again? But I think you've answered the question. You've answered it already. Then I had a question, say, how do you handle pain? You've answered it. I wanted to ask, what would you say to your 10-year-old self? What would you say to my 10-year-old self?
See, as a 10-year-old, I was very, very happy. I'm a happy person, naturally. So I'm not going to say anything else, but to remain happy.
Remain happy.
Because that joyfulness, that happiness, joy is beyond happiness. Joy is it's consistent irrespective of what's happening to you. So I've always been a joyful person, even as a child. So that helps me remain an optimistic person. And no matter how challenging things are, I'm just always in that joyful place. So I can't wait to return to base. My default position is a joyful position. So I will still tell that 10-year-old Ronke that remain joyful. The joy of the Lord is your strength. It is.
No joy, no strength.
refreshing comes in the presence
God.
of the Lord. Stay joyful, because it just helps me a lot. Anytime I'm a bit down, a little bit of praise and worship, I'm happy. It doesn't take a lot for me to bounce back, to want to be happy. And that's probably why I go through things and I easily forgive, I easily bounce back, because I don't have room to be down.
For negativity and negative energy and
I don't have
sadness and
place. It's not to say that I don't have relationships that people annoy me and I'll just say, hey, don't you naturally fall off? Let me just block you. So that you just give me peace. Yes, I do have a few of those. But naturally, I'm that joyful person. That is my default position. And that's what I will tell my 10-year-old self. Stay joyful.
And I think there's something there for people that were once joyful that stopped being joyful. You need to go back to who you used to be. You need to go back to that child that was joyful, that child that was not really bothered about what was happening. You know, I just want to be happy. You need to go back to that. You can be happy. You actually can be happy. I don't know people that feel like they cannot be happy. I don't know who lies to you that you cannot be happy. You can be happy. And even if you cannot be happy, you can be joyful, because the joy will lead to the happiness. You get it? And the joy is, I like when you said in the presence of God, and what came to me is joy is a shield. Joy is a shield. It shields you from life's, life's chuku. Let me use that word like my children use. Chuku, like life storms. Joy will shield you. So I think it's also instructive. Protect your joy. I know you very well. I know how, if somebody is trying to affect your joy, straight up, like, no. Like, no. You can't.
I got this jealousy. I got it jealousy. I don't want anything to stain my whites.
Good.
I don't want anything to steal my joy.
Yeah.
I want to be a happy person. I want to give joy to other people. I want people around me to, I just want to be that happy person. And that's part of the reason why I couldn't stay in the UK, because you know how they live there now. And it's not me just saying it. I'm not just saying it loosely. I lived in the UK for close to 20 years. I moved to the UK when I was 16 years old. So it's not as if I don't understand what UK life is like. Except maybe you are living in, I won't call those areas where it's literally Nigeria there, which I wasn't living in. We pretty much, maybe you guys have how you operate there. But it was the weather. October, November, that time, it was becoming winter, it was becoming gloomy, I just needed to be in the sunshine with love, with children making noise here and there, and all sorts of things. And I don't know, this came to me, if you're that person that you're still waiting for a child, I don't know where this came from, because I just mentioned this now that I needed the children. I didn't say I needed my own child, because my own child is 18. I needed the children. See, children can give you joy. They don't have to be your own biological children. Yes. They can give you joy. They don't have to be your biological
Because of
children.
their spirit. It's contagious.
Society that makes you think that you have to have biological children. So if you are waiting, it may be that God wants you to adopt a child. Don't just hang in there and still you just become 50 years old, 60 years old, and you're still waiting for the IVF to work or one thing or the other. Adopt a child and be happy. Make yourself happy.
Make yourself
the world we are
happy. The world
the
we are
world we are just. Stop waiting for all these things that are happening, artificial constructs. All these children, we're not carrying them to anywhere. We're not carrying them. You have a girl, they say family name. Some people don't even have any name, useless name, but they say they're preserving. Nobody even knows the name. They say they're preserving it. What are they preserving? Nobody knows you. Posterity, nobody's going to know you. So live a happy life. Yeah? Live a happy life. If you need to adopt, if you need to use a surrogate, use a surrogate. Whatever you have to do, make yourself happy. Stop waiting that it has to be my own blood, my own egg, my own silicone. Stop all that rubbish. Honestly. I'm not, I don't say it loosely. I have one child, and she's a girl. Ideally, society will be, people will pray for me to have a boy. I don't want, because she is going to carry my name. Yeah? She's a girl. So it's rubbish that people are saying out there. They're just putting standards that one person created. It's your name opening doors for anybody. If they hear your name, does it open any kind of door? It doesn't have to be all the doors. But at the level at which you are, does your name even open doors for anybody? I remember my daughter telling me one day that she went to there was a course I registered her for, and they didn't they couldn't trace her or whatever. Anyway, she said Ronkeposh. Instantly they allowed her. Instantly they allowed her. If they hear your name, see opening any door, any kind of door, or they say, "Who is that? Who is that?" And some people they say, "Oh, their wife, they're going to have 10 wives because they have 100 children. They're looking for a boy to carry a useless name that nobody's ever going to know." So please, if you're a woman and you're your 30s, late 30s, freeze your eggs. Freeze your eggs. Don't wait for any skinny. If you have to freeze your egg and fertilize it somehow, do it. It's still God's child. It's still God's child. So don't let anybody lie to you. Don't wait and be saying, "Oh, the IVF is not working. You're spending money, spending money." It may be cheaper for you to go to Mina and adopt a baby there. Don't let life cheat you. Enjoy children if you want children. And if you don't want children, don't have. That's another one. Don't have children because they're putting you under pressure. But you don't have child. You don't have child. As long as you're happy. And if you don't want a husband or a wife, don't have. Don't have it because of anything that society is telling you. Stop following the standards of society. Stop looking like everybody else. Stop dressing like everybody else. Stop talking like everybody else. Why? Be yourself. Set new standards. Let people follow you. Be the standard.
Be the standard. Come on.
You can be the standard.
Come on.
I think those are my final words, so I don't take too much time. But yeah, be authentic and be the standard. Yeah.
Be authentic and be. She has finished. There's nothing to say again. Be the standard and allow God be your standard, so that your standard can be standard that is from God and not from the world. And then that way, knowing that God is happy with you and you are happy, everybody else will be all right. That is how to live again. Thank you so much, ma'am. It's been very wonderful having you. It's been a well of knowledge and just kept flowing. I didn't even want to stop it. I just wanted to enjoy it. And you know, we've even stayed longer than normal, but thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you've shared. I need to leave you now so you can go and rest. But thank you so much for just pouring and giving us so many steps, so many tips, and you know, a bag of knowledge on living again. I'm sure that anybody who watches this will get a lot of tips and practical steps to be able to live and not exist, because that's what God intends for us to do. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone. I don't even read the comments. Some people were posting and they were engrossed in what we were saying. People were
don't forget to
their
send me a collaboration. Don't forget to tag me as a collaborator so that I can
you can have the okay.
Yeah, I can have the video.
I will. I absolutely will. I will. Thank you so much. Ebere joined. People are dropping their comments. Thanks, Ronkeposh.
I didn't even see all that. So
yeah, I'm just looking at it.
I didn't even see all the people that joined.
Yeah, someone is saying don't live your life based on what people will say. Be intentional about you living. That's what someone got. Someone said a good support system. Someone said you need good people around you. Yeah, people got things. You know, Ebere joined and said, "My people." I saw her, but I didn't want to leave what we were saying. Hi, Ebere, if you're still here. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, everyone. God bless you.
All right.
Keep living. Good night.
Good night.
Keep living. Live. Don't exist. Don't try to be someone else. I like how this conversation went. It was really, in fact, I would say one of the main things that kept coming up is authenticity. You need to be yourself. You need to be who God has created you to be. And that's how to live again. You cannot be somebody else. I can't be Ronkeposh. Ronkeposh cannot be me. Like, it would be such a wasted life if I'm trying to be her and she's trying to be me. So stop trying to be other people. Live again. And you know, she mentioned baggages. She mentioned trauma. At the Live Again outreach, we're dealing with all of that. So if you can click the link in my bio and you're a woman, you want to heal. We are dealing with spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, financial, is holistic well-being. Click the link in my bio and register for the Live Again outreach happening in April. Is going to be amazing. Trust me, it's time for you to live again. That's why the theme of the Live Again series is time for you to live again. I don't know how long you've stayed existing, how long you've allowed society dictate for you, how long you've allowed yourself to just be, going with standards of this world. It's time for you that is listening to me. It's time for you to live again. And that time is now. God bless you till I come your way next time. I hope you were able to get something. I hope you're able to get some things from this. If you just joined, please, you have to go to the replay. You have to go. I'm going to be posting the replay here right now, right? So click the link and click the replay and listen again and again. Ronkeposh said a lot, so that we will not, like, she said a lot. I did not want to just continue to milk it, because there's just so much to milk from what she said, so that we won't spend 2 hours here. But she's just a reservoir of knowledge that, when she's speaking and you're listening to her, there's just so much that she said, so much. She spoke about self-care when she went through pain and trauma. Self-care is so important. You need to care for yourself. Stop waiting for someone to come and care for you one day. You are the one that should care for yourself. You care for yourself. It's so important. Oh my goodness. Man, it's been a wonderful time. It's been a very wonderful time. If you joined earlier, you'd have heard I shared about my story. I was existing. After I went through abuse. But today I'm living again because I'm living in purpose. Purpose was what God used to begin to help me live again. So there's so much. God wants you to live in purpose. God wants you to be in the center of his will. God wants you to do what pleases him, and not just necessarily what pleases yourself. Because what pleases yourself can end up being something that will put you in problem and make you to begin to exist again. If you're just joining us, I'm signing out, so you're actually late. I'm posting the replay on my page right now, so you can click on it and watch it. Our guest did justice to living again. I mean, she shared so much. She shared so much. I don't even want to drag this for too long. She shared so much. How to deal with pain, live again tips, what you can do to be able to bounce back from adversity. It was just a lot. Please go to the replay, and I'm sure it will bless you. And if there's someone that you feel that needs to listen to this, please share the link with them. God bless you. Don't forget to register for the Live Again outreach coming up in April. Link is in my bio to read more about it. It's really on holistic well-being, to be able to help you to truly live and not merely exist. And it's free. It's even free. Too many things are happening. Free massage, free coaching and therapy, free makeover, free photo shoots, free food stuff, free Live Again pack. Free. We're making it all free. Not because it's free, but because somebody is paying for it. Because we are paying for it, but it's free. Just come and enjoy yourself. Come and lay aside all the weight so that you can truly live. It's the link in my bio to register, or you can visit bit.ly/Live Again outreach. God bless you till I come your way. Bye. Ciao.